Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing my October reading wrap up. I read 9 books total in October. I read a lot of romance, a couple fantasies, and a little mystery thriller moment. So we're gonna go through all of them. I think we're gonna do it by genre because I don't really remember the order I read all of them. We're gonna just start off strong with the one book that isn't romance or fantasy that I read, which is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read this because I read the Inheritance Games series. I'm not fully caught up in like that world right now. I read up to the Brothers Hawthorne and then I just like having a hard time picking up any other book in that because it's just like so much. But I decided to pick this one up because I was craving like a fast-paced something, and especially in the month of October, I need something a little kind of thriller-esque, even though I'm not a huge thriller fan, like of like scarier thrillers. Scariest I get is Holly Jackson, guys. That's the scariest I get. But I really enjoyed this book. This follows Cassie, who is really good at reading people, and she gets chosen by this program called The Naturals by the FBI, and they work on like investigating crimes that had already happened in the past, and like they all have like natural abilities. But Cassie's mom had passed away due to a murder, and she was who found the body in like the crime scene. I just not the body, but like the crime scene, and she like knew it, like, and it's something that like traumatizes her to this day. And there ends up being this little investigation going on in the background, and Cassie gets really intrigued by it because of like her past and what has happened in her life. And you follow Cassie trying to use her ability to like read people, based on like context clues and stuff like that, and to like investigate crimes. And it's really, really cool. It's very like, I don't really know, but I know a lot of people say it's like Criminal Minds but in like book YA form, but I don't know. I've never seen Criminal Minds, but I really enjoyed this book. I rated this a 4.5 stars, one of my higher rated books of the month, and I really, really enjoyed the characters in this book, and just like it was so fun. I don't have any cons about it. There was nothing I didn't really enjoy. I just just not quite a 5-star, but it was really good. So that is our first book, and then we're gonna go with the 2 fantasies I read this month, which, yeah, let me get those. I read 2 fantasies in the month of October. I was definitely in a big romance mood, but there was a couple times when I was like, I just really want a fantasy. So it was actually the first book I read this month was a fantasy, and that was the second book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is part of the Grishaverse, and I decided to start with Shadow and Bone and like go with that order of like reading the Grishaverse. And so I have like all the information I want, because I really want to read Six of Crows, but I was told to read like this series first. But I don't really know how to explain the Grishaverse. I just like, and like what happens in this world. But basically, Alina is our main character in this world, and you're kind of following her trying to figure out like her powers and stuff on this journey, but she's trying to escape from like this one character. But then like, I don't really know how to explain it. Basically, this is the second book. Look into this first book, and if you choose to read it, that is great. I do like these books. I think they're good. They're not my absolute favorite, especially in the fantasy genre, because if you don't know, I'm like a big fantasy reader over here. My fantasy romances are my babies. but I rated Shadow and Bone a 4-star, and then I decided to rate this one a 3.5. There was parts where it was slower for me, or I just like didn't care anymore, and I just like, okay, wrap it up. I think I've been kind of just like dragging my way through the series a little bit just to get to Six of Crows. But there are moments where I like, oh, I love this character. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm like really invested towards the end, definitely. But like, I just kind of got bored and like didn't care anymore throughout the story. But yeah, I thought it was good. Just wasn't anything amazing and breathtaking by any means. All right, and then the next fantasy book I read was a book by an author I really, really love, and that is The Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I read the Caraval series last year, I believe, yeah, and I absolutely really thought it was a fun time and really enjoyed that series. Not like 5-star or anything, but I rated like, they were like all 4 and above, and I really, really enjoyed the series. So then I knew I had to pick up Once Upon a Broken Heart. The ratings for this series is like, everyone loves this series, I feel like, and it's definitely very hyped up, and I definitely loved a character that was in the Caraval series that is also in this series. It was really fun, like, knowing his background and like his upbringing, like not upbringing, but like some background information, and some of the characters in that series were talked about in this series. And so you definitely get background a lot by reading that series first, and I really am glad I read that series first because it definitely helped me throughout this book. This book follows Evangeline Fox, and she decides to make a deal with the Prince of Hearts to stop this wedding of her stepsister and the guy she supposedly loves. And then there ends up being a curse, and like and ends up like not going very well. But then she like then discovers like the dangers of the Prince of Hearts and dealing with the fates. And this is a very magical fantasy. There's some romance, there's some fun, more intense moments, but it's really just like really whimsical and magical and fun, and nothing too crazy. In this book so far, I definitely enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything I was like super like on the edge of my seat about. So I went ahead and rated this a 4-star because I really loved it and I had a lot of fun, but it wasn't like 5-star level. It was just like a really good book. So I rated it a 4-star, and I highly recommend that one. Okay, now we're moving on to my romances. I do have one that I read on Kindle and I don't own, so we're gonna go with that one first. I read Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair. This is part of this like little hockey fall romance series, and I thought it was fun. It was cute. I really enjoyed it. I rated it a 4 stars. This follows 2 characters, and I don't remember their names, but they live in this small town, and she's like the social media manager, and then he ends up having an issue in the NHL and gets in a little bit of a fight, so he gets knocked down to the hockey team that she manages social media for. And think of this hockey team as like the Savannah Bananas but for hockey, if you know what I mean. Like, it's really fun and like all that stuff, and the romance is so adorable and so wholesome. They actually knew each other before, when the guy was best friends with her brother, but then they had a falling out, and so they've always had a little crush moment on each other. Well, specifically the girl had a crush on him growing up because he was kind of like the older brother's friend, you know. And it was really cute, and I thought it was fun, and so I rated it a 4-star because I really enjoyed their romance, and I thought it was cute and sweet, but nothing super special either. So it was just like a well done romance, you know. All right, and then another fall themed book I read was Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. This was so cute. I don't remember what I rated this one. I think I rated it a 4.25. Yeah, I rated this one a 4.25 star. And this follows Ellis and Cooper, but we're in Ellis's POV, and Ellis has to move to this small town. What is this? Bramble Falls, Connecticut, from Manhattan, after her parents have a little bit of a falling out and like a fight, and her mom's like, let's just go stay with your aunt for a little while, and she's not happy about it. She has a lot of big plans for her future with internships and stuff with her dad's company, so she's a little definitely she's not very happy with her mom about moving to Bramble Falls, but she ends up running into Cooper, who she used to see every summer when she visited Bramble Falls, and they would hang out, and they were actually each other's first kiss, but they weren't like, and never went anywhere from there, and they would text and they would talk, but then they had a little bit of a separation, or not separation, but they kind of like grew apart, and they come back, and all of a sudden Cooper hates her, and she's trying to figure out like what happened and like why he's not doing that. There's also this fall festival going on, and they're like helping with activities and volunteering and for this fall festival, and there's a ton of fall activities, and it's so fun. It's definitely perfect for the season, and I really enjoyed this. I rated it a 4.25. I thought it was really cute. It was fun. It was fast-paced. I read it in like a day, and I really enjoyed this one. The next book I read was, well, not next book I read, but these are not in order of when I read them. But another book I read was Kiss Now Lie Later by C.W. Farnsworth. This follows Weston and Maeve, and she is, wait, hold up. So her dad is the head football coach at Glenmont High School, and their rivals are Allegheny High, where Weston Cole is the starting quarterback, and then her brother's the starting quarterback at Glenmont. And so they're like they are like forbidden kind of romance vibes. But then they run into each other at a party, and they start talking, and they kiss, but then nothing happens. And then a little bit later, they run into each other at a party again, when she's just kind of like, I don't know, just around. And then they end up talking, and like, I don't even know, but it just kind of goes from there, and it's really cute. It's really sweet. I really enjoyed this story, and I think I rated this a 4.5 star. This is like such a cute, I love football, and it was very like high school football, very high school vibes, and I loved it, especially at the time I'm like going to football games and stuff, and I'm reading this book, and I'm like, they're going to football games, and there's the football, all the football drama, and like who's like all the things, and it was just like so fun and so cute, and I loved Weston and Maeve both, and I definitely had some depth to it and some real life issues in there and some emotional depth that I also really enjoyed. So I definitely really enjoyed this book, and I rated it a 4.5 star. Okay, and another football little YA romance I read was Until Friday Night by Abby Glines. This is like a series, but this one follows Maggie and West. Oh my gosh, why was everyone's name West in this? Like West. I feel like every guy in books. I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, so this one's a lot of trauma and high school football and trauma, like literally in a book. I definitely liked some of the romance and liked a lot of the scenes, and I liked some of the emotional depth in this book, but this wasn't my absolute favorite. I thought it was good, but it wasn't anything great, and I think like this book did it better. So I rated this one a 3. star. I thought it was pretty okay, but there was so much trauma in it, and I feel like it was just like too much, you know? And it was like, yeah. I am not gonna tell you what this book's about. I'm just gonna let you read the description if you're interested. I thought it was okay, nothing great. I don't think I'm gonna continue the series, and yeah, that's that. And then I read 2 books by 2 of my favorite authors, and these were definitely my favorite books in the month. We're gonna start with this one. This is Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. If you don't know, which you probably do if you watched any of my videos before, I'm currently reading the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh, and I am quite obsessed. I did have a little rip and like it made this line, so please ignore that. I'm really upset about it, so I don't want to talk about it. But I read Binding 13 and Keeping 13 a little bit ago, and I'm absolutely obsessed with Johnny and Shannon that those 2 books follow. This book follows Joey and Aoife, and Joey is Shannon's brother from the first 2 books, and then Aoife is his love interest. They actually go to a different school. They don't go to Tommen, and I loved this book. I didn't quite connect to Joey and Aoife as much as I connected to Johnny and Shannon, which I was kind of like, I was really trying hard, but it was like really hard for me because Johnny and Shannon have like such a special place in my heart, but I still really love them. There's so much heavy stuff in this book though, so please check the trigger warnings. These books may be my favorite books, but they are maybe not for you as well because of how much like heavy emotional topics are talked about in this book and like shown in this book. There are trigger warnings, I think, at the beginning of the book. Yeah. There's a little author's note with like some trigger warnings. And there's also a glossary. These books take place in Ireland, so some of the language in it is like Gaelic slang, which I just think is really funny. I kind of love it, so that's that for me. But I really just, I ate this book up. I rated this a 4.75. I couldn't quite get to the 5-star feeling, but I still really loved it, and I read this book literally like in a day or 2, which is pretty fast for a 500-page book, I would say. But I literally consume these books like no other book. I loved seeing a different like POV of like some of the stuff that was going on in Binding 13. You kind of see, but this one is definitely takes place before Binding 13. Also these books are also in the early 2000s. That too, I forgot. Anyway, I just love this series. There's not really a way to say like what this series is about. It's just like coming of age, romance, high school, like just the growing up, and everyone's home lives and how they affect them, and like just like real life for some people. It's just so good. It's just so good with some really great male main characters. Really good. Joey and Johnny. Anyway, I'm really excited to continue the series. I love these characters. I love these books with my whole heart, and I could talk about this series forever and ever. Okay, the last book I'm going to talk about in this video is by literally my favorite YA romance author of all time, and that is Lynn Painter. This is Fixating by Lynn Painter, and this follows Alec and Danny. I love Alec and Danny so much. So Alec is our male main character, and then Danny is our girl main character, or female main character. And Danny is moving in with her grandpa after her parents' divorce, and her mom grew up there. She spent summers in this town And Alec has been like her best family friend, grew up together, childhood friends ever, but when they come back, he's definitely changed a lot. He's grew up, he's the hockey star in this town that loves hockey in Minnesota. And I literally ate this book up, literally ate it up. Oh my gosh, I feel like I related to Danny more than I've related to any of Lynn Painter's characters or any character before. I've never felt so seen by a character than with Danny Collins, and I love her. Wait, that's her last name, right? I believe so. Doesn't even say her last name in the synopsis, so we're just gonna hope I was right. But if you don't know, Wes Bennett is like my book boyfriend of choice. Like, he is my man. And then like besides Kai Azar, I would go Kai Azar, Wes Bennett, then Johnny Kavanaugh. But yeah, so I'm like Better Than Movies, Nothing Like Movies, best books ever in the romance genre, in my opinion. But this one I think is like my third favorite Lynn Painter book after Better Than Movies and Nothing Like the Movies. And I was so obsessed. I thought it was so well done. It was so good. And I just like, I can't with the like small town aspects, the family, found family, just all the like things in this book. And you can also see them like talking about college and talking about all these things. And it's just so good. If like you're gonna take my word for like reading one book and this whole stack of books I have next to me, I would say read Fake Skinning by Lynn Painter. I love this book so much, and I rated this book a 5-star. I was so impressed by this and not let down one bit. So yeah, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I really like the Target one. Anyway, highly recommend. So cute, so fun. And yeah, so those are the 9 books I read in the month of October. Here's 8 of them. And I hope you really enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more bookish content. And yeah.